Thanks, Paul. Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon. Sorry about that. Forgot we're after 12 o'clock. So good afternoon, and thanks for being with us. Thanks for covering the squad. I want to welcome our students back. We start class tomorrow, and it's been great driving around campus, and then also obviously Saturday, seeing all the students. It was awesome and greatly appreciate it, and look forward to seeing them again here this Saturday night at 6:30. I want to congratulate Ryan Hilinski. He was named to the All-State Good Works team this morning. It's only recognizes 11 FBS players. A couple of years ago, I had the privilege of being recognized to be on this team. Outstanding contributions to their communities and their environment. So fired up for Ryan. He's our only Big Ten Conference representative. So congratulations to him. Not a surprise. He's incredibly giving of his time, and we could probably have multiple guys that could be up for that, but congratulations to him. And then this week is the American Football Coaches Association Coach to Cure game. And across the country, you'll see coaches wearing Coach to Cure patches to raise awareness and hopefully funds to help find a cure for this terrible disease of Duchenne muscular dystrophy. We've had some great fans of ours come out and be a part of practices in the past and game day. Some young men, and this terrible disease only affects young men, become a part of our football family. And, we as a program look forward to helping out, and it's a proud AFCA member, hoping to raise awareness for Duchenne and a cure that hopefully will come. Looking back, we had no players of the week on offense or defense. Special teams player of the week was Ray Nairo. This is his second time of the year that he's done that. Our three practice players on offense, CJ Johnson, defensively, Joe DeHaan, and on special teams, Devin Turner. Those three guys gave a great look. Obviously disappointed to say the least in the outcome of the game, but like I told the squad, we're probably, you look at our first three games, I would categorize this as a very inconsistent football team that ultimately is my responsibility. Inconsistent in execution, inconsistent in the turnover ratio. We've made some critical errors in some critical times. But we're probably 3 or 4 plays away from being 0-3, and probably 3 or 4 more plays and being 3-0. And that's the great thing about football. You got to be consistent. And when you're not, you got to look at, a lot of things. Number one, our schematics. And I think we adjusted well in all games, but, and I thought we started faster on Saturday, but we obviously gave a couple of things up. And then, we've beat ourselves with the turnover ratio, limiting your opportunities. It's scary to me right now. You think we gave away really 6 possessions of momentum in the second half. But 5, but 3 of which were obvious. The 2 turnovers and the 4th down that we didn't convert. So those are really damaging when you're trying to seize momentum and capitalize on some things. And I thought at times our defense did a great job, especially with being on a short field and only giving up 7 points, but that ended up being the 7-point difference. So we've got to play cleaner as a team. We've got to be more consistent. Ultimately, that's my responsibility. And we got to work on it right away this morning. Show the guys what happened, what we're going to do to fix it. And attitude was great. Another huge challenge. I think, top to bottom, I think the Red Hawks are as good of a team as we've played. Coach Martin's been there now a number of years. The systems are in place. They've had some staff turnover, but there's been a high level of consistency with the way that they've played. They were up 17-7 on a very good Cincinnati team over the weekend. And that was a very impressive start out the gate, 10-0, very physical team. James Patton, a very close friend of mine, coaches their offensive line, and his DNA is all over that group. Their downhill run team, RPO, their defense is set up to stop the RPO, and they're very physical in their front 7. I was very impressed with John Saunders' play against Cincinnati. He was all over the field. Their corner, watching the tape, incredibly impressive. Their inside backers are awesome to watch. I think there's a reason why they were picked to win their division in the MAC. They're a complete team. They've added some very impressive pieces. So we're gonna have our hands full, but we got to focus on us. We got to get better here this week and play our cleanest, most consistent game of the year. So with that, I'll open it up and hopefully answer any and all questions that you may have.
Reminder, if you have a question, please message Athletic Communications in the chat. First question for Andrew Seligman.
Hey, Pat. Just wondering, what do you make of how the Big Ten has fared as a conference in general in the non-conference part of the schedule, and especially what happened this past weekend with some of the losses and some of the narrow escapes?
Yeah, Andrew. Yeah, I'd love to be able to tell you I've seen all of my brethren here in the Big Ten. I've got 99 problems and everybody else's is not one. It's not a line that I use. I use that frequently, I guess. So I need to focus on us. Again, I think it's early in the year. You've got different things that happen without a preseason, and major college football every week's kind of its own entity. And you got to find a way to get your team to peak on game day. And then, momentum happens. I had a chance to watch a couple of games after I got home, I got a chance to sprint out and watch Loyola play. We'll catch the second half, but it was just, again, like us, more teams are beating themselves than are winning games. And I think that is what I've seen of the games that I've watched. And usually the teams that keep grinding and improve, it kind of starts to be corrected. And that's what our hope is that we'll be able to do here.
John Vogt.
Yeah, hi, Coach. You mentioned Ryan winning the AFCA award this morning. Could you just speak a little bit more about the leadership he shows every day and how he gives back to the community?
Yeah, Ryan's spectacular when it comes to giving back to the community. From Hilinski's Hope, all the way through, he interacts with every young person that he meets. He's just got a incredibly dynamic personality. He's incredibly giving. And you can see that it's kind of written all over his DNA. And we're just really proud of him. A young man that, obviously was a newcomer in our program a year ago, and to see how he's grown, his confidence has grown. He's a perfect fit for that recognition, and couldn't be more proud of Ryan.
Bradley Locker.
Hey, Coach, in light of the injuries that you guys had in the secondary, obviously no Coco again, no Cam Mitchell, no AJ Hampton, just wondering how you go about balancing those when you're evaluating the performance of the secondary, and just what kind of takeaways you had from that unit, obviously, as you guys are still banged up going forward.
Yeah, well, next man up mentality. That's the way it's been since my entire career here. You don't worry about anything other than that. And, unfortunately, through injuries becomes another man's opportunity. And I thought at times there was some really good play, and I thought at times there was some inconsistent play. And that's kind of indicative of our whole team. And that group will learn. It's very talented. It's very hungry to improve. And it's not just them, right? I mean, I think it's just, you look at that entire side of the ball right now, that group is learning and growing, and, we love them, and that group's going to stick together. I think there's been flashes of some really good defensive play, and we've just got to get to a consistent level, all three phases of the defense, fundamentally tackling, and then obviously takeaways and winning at level 3. So, I mean, those are the areas that we've got to continue to work relentlessly to improve. And I know the guys will, and I know the staff will.
John Riker.
Hey, Coach. John Riker, Daily Northwestern. Sidestepping the football questions a little bit, field hockey's been on a tear, top team in the country, 8-0. What have you learned from being a coach from Coach Tracy over there?
Yeah, John, I mean, first of all, Coach Fuchs and I are very close. Love her dearly. I get a chance, when we're up here grinding, we get a chance to look right out and, see those women get after it. And it's so much fun to watch them, to say the least. I think number one, she's the greatest player of all time. I mean, and maybe somebody can argue with me about that, but I just think her confidence in her teaching and the way that we go about playing. I just think she's a grinder, and that's what you see when you watch her team. They grind. They've got just a great mindset, and then they've got some really positive momentum going on right now. So it's kind of fun. You got to earn that, and they've earned it, and that's something that we hope to be able to gain with this year's squad with us. It's amazing how momentum can be just such a great thing that builds upon itself, and just honored to be her friend, honored to be her colleague, and so inspired by the success that her team has had, and by watching her lead. So it's she's a special person and a great coach and a great friend.
Thank you.
Louis Vicaire.
That would be the mute button again, Louis.
Sorry about that. I
okay.
thought I hit it.
Constantly teaching and coaching here, Louis. Doesn't stop with you, my friend.
I'm working for that consistency you always talk about.
Yeah.
So, looking a little bigger picture here, you've turned around teams after slow starts to the season and bad early season losses before, right? And in 2016, you were 0-2 and wound up winning the Pinstripe Bowl. 2018, 1-3 and 1 in the West. So what kind of similarities or differences do you see, like when you compare this team to those, and what kind of lessons that you learned those seasons that you can apply here and try to right the ship?
Yeah, well, the ship isn't not right. All right. So the ship is fine. I'll be clear with that. We haven't won a couple of games. So there's great belief and confidence, I think, for number one, from our coaching staff and our players. We have great confidence in these guys that they're going to work their tails off to continue to improve. That's what those teams did that I had the privilege of coaching in the past. They didn't listen to noise. They didn't listen to outside things. They just stayed very focused. They kept working diligently to improve the things we could control. We won a lot of hard-fought battles in those years. And we had a lot of guys step up in different roles. And so there's a ton of lessons, and I'll share a lot of those, as we move forward, not only when it's tough like now, but also when you have success. It's a double-edged sword. You've just got to just be so disciplined in the way that you approach your preparation. You all have been in our squad room here, and that's, goal number one, consistent preparation. That gives you just an opportunity to compete on Saturdays. When you don't consistently prepare, you have no chance. And at this point, this team has worked relentlessly in practice. I'm very proud of the effort level that we've gotten. I'm very proud of the way that our young guys have given looks. We've had very competitive practices. We've just beat ourselves, Louis, and I don't want to discredit Duke and SIU. They both came in here and were physical. They made big plays when it mattered. We did not. But we're not built. Nobody's built. I went through a bunch of the NFL games this morning with the squad. You lose the turnover ratio. You don't give yourself a chance to win games. You can occasionally get lightning in a bottle, but we've got to take care of the ball, and we've got to take the ball away more. And that's those two teams. That was something that we did really well, Louis. And it's number one correlation to victory in football, no matter what level you're at. So you can't give away 3 possessions when you only have 6, basically a half. That's basically what we're averaging, about 12 series a game. You can't give away half of those series and turnovers.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, man. Appreciate you covering us.
Andrew Seligman.
Yeah, Pat, kind of following up on that and the earlier question about when it comes to non-conference play, how much of a harbinger do you see that as for how the team will generally perform in conference play?
Yeah, it's been probably, Andrew's been a little bit of a mixed bag over my 17 years here for us. I don't know. I probably should go through and study it, what it is, but it's a new week. It's a Monday. We have our routine that we go through. The guys had a great workout this morning. I'm not surprised. They've got a lot of personal pride. No one's very happy around here right now, but you got to use that fuel to just keep working to get better. I mean, it was funny. I was talking with Michael Conway, who does a great job for us, and just getting ready for tomorrow's squad meeting. And, just a lot of memories come back when you face adversity. That's when, in my opinion, when real leadership shows up. You just you stay the course, you keep grinding, and you just work your tail off to get better. And the teams that are able to do that, Andrew, end up getting better, improve, and win games as the season goes along in conference play. The teams that, maybe feel like they've arrived, they could, go south in a hurry. And then you just got to keep the pedal down. And I promise you we'll continue to do that.
Can you remember a year, or are there any years that stand out where maybe you got off to a good non-conference start and maybe got the full sense of security out of that?
If we did, I usually probably take that and get it out of my mind. Yeah. I don't recall, but I'm sure there are. It hasn't all been roses here. Sure, it hasn't been Rose Bowls, which ticks me off, but that's why I'm going gray and working my butt off. So.
Thanks.
Yeah, no, thanks for covering us, man.
Dave Ennett.
Hey, Pat, does this game, this series with Miami, even though it's been a while since you played them, hold any special significance? There's a lot of shared history from obvious from era going all the way back, previous coaches, Coach Walk, the game in '95, your first game. Anything special about it for you?
All those things. Yeah, absolutely. Everything special about this game. You know, I talked to Air about it, you know, before he passed. You know, he and I talked about just a lot of things, and he would tell and shared stories about the cradle of coaches. And, you know, obviously my time with Randy, it was that staff. There was a lot of his players, you know, and teammates that were with us here, you know, Jack Kloak and James, and the list goes on and on of great Miami players that I've gotten to know over the years. And, you know, obviously the rich tradition that program has had speaks for itself. And, you know, Coach Martin's carried it over now, but yeah, there's a lot of memories that came back when I woke up this morning. I went through just a bunch of my notes, and yeah, it's a special game for a lot of reasons for a lot of people. And I think probably two teams that are really hungry for a win. You know, I don't want to speak for Coach, but I know that they don't want to be where they're at record wise, and neither do we. So it should be one heck of a football game Saturday night under the lights, Ryan Field.
Thanks.
Time for a few more questions. Lawrence Price.
Hey, Coach, Lawrence Price, Daily Northwestern. Can you talk about through these first three games that you've seen from the linebacker room, or just the developments and strides you've seen, especially from Xander Mueller and Bryce Gallagher?
Yeah, you know, Lawrence, I think I've seen a lot of really good play. You know, we've just got to clean up the little things. You know, that to me is, you know, where that room is right now. There's we put a lot on their plate mentally. We put a lot on their plate as far as leadership, and I just see both of those guys really growing and improving. That, you know, you include Metzi, who's getting his first time out there, you know, full time at Sam, and then the guys that are kind of in the two-ish deep, you know, two and beyond, that are playing in the kick game for the first time. You know, it's a young group, and it's a hungry group to improve. You know, those guys are freaking relentless in the way. I mean, these are two good groups of linebackers. I really love watching Miami's group on tape. I loved watching them in my off-season study, and then these first 3 weeks, they've been all over. So it should be a fun linebacking. If you're a watcher and an enthusiast of linebacker play like I am, this should be a fun game, because I think those two groups, both ours and theirs, will be around the ball a bunch on Saturday night.
Bradley Locker.
Hey, Coach, Bradley Locker with Inside NU. Post-game on Saturday, you noted how SIU unfurled some exotic formations that kind of confused the guys a little bit. I'm just curious how that has affected your preparation for Miami and just the rest of the year going forward, that balance between what you see on film and what the team actually displays.
Yeah, just one. There was just one. I tipped my hat to him. I told that to Nick after the game. So that was dirty. That was good play, man. You know, they lined up in an illegal formation and shifted into a legal formation. So I gave him after the play, I gave him the old golf clap, and you know, they caught us in something that, you know, we hadn't seen. We had an adjustment to a certain set, and they did a really good job. They had too many guys in the backfield, and then shifted to a guy, and it was really good stuff. So we adjusted that. And, you know, that was really it. The rest of the stuff we had practiced, or some semblance of it, you know, and, you know, it's going back to Andrew's questions about non-conference games. It's kind of like Forrest Gump. You never know what you're going to get from that box of chocolates. And I thought our communication on the sideline was really, really good. I thought the adjustments were really good. We had some dirty eyes on some plays, and it cost us. And, again, those guys will learn and grow from it. But I thought there was I thought they responded. You know, again, sudden change happens 3 times across our 50, and our goal is 3 points or less, you know, and we gave up 7. So our goal was to give up 9 points or less in that situation. Right. And, you know, obviously we want the shutout, but I thought we responded. And I think we're starting to grow a little bit with our younger experienced guys. And, you know, there's nothing better than that. And those guys will keep getting better, and I have full confidence in them. Same thing with the staff. All right. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate your time today. And again, to our students, thanks for the support last week, and look forward to getting everybody back on campus this week. And to my son, Ryan, who turns 16 tomorrow. Happy birthday, Ryan. Go Cats.
All right, we'll go right into questions for Ryan Hilinski. If you have a question, please message Athletic Communications in the chat and we'll get you added to the queue. First question for John Vogt.
Yeah, hi Ryan. You're named to the AFCA Good Works team this morning. Can you just talk a little bit about what that honor means to you?
Yeah, I actually had a couple of teammates bring it up to me. I didn't even know it came out today, but yeah, it's a cool honor. It's a tremendous honor actually, to be a part of that team. Only 10 other guys really part of that team. So I think it's a tremendous honor. It's pretty cool deal when you get a text from both your parents that do amazing things saying that they're proud of you in that area of life. So I'm very honored to be a part of that team and keep doing good stuff moving forward for sure.
Louis Vicaire.
Hey, Ryan, Louis Vicaire with Wildcat Report. Fitz on Saturday talked about your performance, thought you did some really good things, thought there would be some throws that you want back, some things you did you want back. So after watching the film and everything, what was your assessment with your performance on Saturday?
Yeah, my job as quarterback is to put us in the best position to win the game. And I obviously didn't do that Saturday. Put the defense in a tough spot. I just heard coach talking about it. I mean, turn the ball over twice in the fourth quarter. That's a recipe for a loss. Turn the ball over 3 times individually as a recipe for a loss as a quarterback. So I got to do better. Obviously, I think there are some things that we can build off of as an offense, some things that you can take, be like, okay, we're moving in the right direction. But just a lot of times myself, obviously, want some throws back. Of course, the interceptions, just can't do it. That's just how it goes. Coach reads off a list every morning when we start team. He's like, these are the teams that lost. These are the teams that won. And every team that lost usually is in the differential, the bottom part of that turnover margin. So just got to take care of the football. That's the number one commandment in the QB room. We just got to be better in that sense. I've got to be better in that sense to give our guys a chance to win. To give a defense a break. I thought they did a great job getting us the ball back, and it was 7 points was a differential in the game. And if we just get one of those turnovers back, I'm sure it'll be a different outcome. But props to the SIU for coming out and playing a good game. But I got to be better in every aspect.
Thank you.
John Riker.
Hello, Ryan. John Riker, Daily Northwestern. With you guys practicing next to field hockey and the success that they have and are having, how have you tried to emulate their success in your leadership style? And how do you feel that one program's success can impact the others?
Yeah, I think here at Northwestern, I think Coach Fitz does a great job of including everybody in everything that we do football wise. You know, if whether it's soccer, women's soccer, men's soccer, field hockey, lacrosse, whatever it is, coach is always making sure that we're at their events, learning from them, watching them, cheering them on, doing that type of stuff. I mean, they were out there this morning when we were practicing on the other field. So obviously there's a good amount of stuff you can learn from a team as successful as them. But when you look at it, it's kind of just comes back to having fun with it. You know, I think that's the biggest thing that I realized this morning. You know, of course we can sulk around and we could be this and that, but I mean, that's not going to get anything done. So when you look at those teams that have success, they have fun, they go out there, they play for each other like we always do. And I think we just need to get back to having fun like it was when we were kids, you know, and I think we're doing a good job of that. Guys always coming in with a bright smile and willing to learn, willing to get better no matter what the cost is. And definitely with teams that have success like that around, it's easy to kind of latch on to that and hopefully get some from successes it as well and some energy from it, whatever it takes, to get the win at the end of the day. Great
Thanks,
question.
Ryan.
Yeah.
John Vogt.
Hi again, Ryan. Another big week for Malik Washington, 76 yards, first touchdown of the year. Seems like you guys are really clicking. What's going into that connection for you two right now?
Yeah, Malik is he's one of a kind for sure. He's a guy that's explosive with the ball in his hands no matter what. And he's a guy that always comes in with the smile. We always joked about getting him an NIL deal with Colgate because of his smile. But the kid's he's a good kid. He likes to work his butt off. And I think when it comes down to it for me and him, we watch film individually, like together every day after meetings. And we try and scheme up what we like, what would happen in certain situations, what would we do if this happened in that situation. So we're always prepared for whatever's thrown at us. And I think the chemistry that we built this off season of routes, of hanging out, of getting closer as friends, honestly, has been a big aspect of that as well. And I think he's just continuing to climb. I'm glad he got his first touchdown. Hopefully we can get him a lot more moving forward.
Bradley Locker.
Hey Ryan, Bradley Locker with Insight, and you talked about the importance of not turning the ball over, but I was wondering how you think you as a quarterback and as a unit and offense can better sustain offensive momentum besides just not turning the ball over.
Yeah, I think a big part of that is explosives. I think when you look at explosives in a drive, whether it's run or pass, the percentage of scoring goes way up. And if you look at this past game, we only had 3 passes and 3 run explosives. So, I mean, that's not going to get the job done. Whatever it is we need to do schematically, whatever it is we need to do individually, we're going to do, because I think that's a big thing for momentum when you can create explosives, whether it's a run or a pass. I think that gives momentum for the offense. Even if we drive down the field and get good, field position for the defense, I think that could count as momentum for us. So I think as long as we keep clicking on offense, keep getting explosives, move the ball, as we've been doing the previous weeks, I think that creates momentum for us. And I think it shows us that no matter what happens, we're going to be okay. We're going to move the ball. We're going to get in the end zone, but we just need to find it sooner. And I think that's going to be a big emphasis this week.
All right. Thank you, Ryan.
Thank you, guys.
All right, we'll go right into questions for Xander. Again, if you have a question, please message Athletic Communications in the chat and we'll get you added to the queue. First question for Lawrence Price.
Hey Xander, can you talk about your journey at Northwestern? Just you coming here or starting out and producing on special teams and then climbing through the ranks, waiting your turn and getting your time now.
Yeah, I've loved this place since I've been here. So it's definitely been a great journey. Biggest thing is just learning from linebackers ahead of me. Freshman year, getting to watch Patty and Blake and Chris Bergen, and then Chris Bryce and PD Mack last year. All phenomenal linebackers, and learning from them and from my linebacker coach is definitely the biggest part of any kind of success I've had. So that's definitely the biggest things I've learned about them from them.
John Riker.
Hey Xander, John Riker, Daily Northwestern. What do you feel like the team's comfort level is with another year of kind of comfort in the defense?
Yeah, I think getting on a spring ball, another training camp was definitely good for our defense, good for our communication. I think each of us has to kind of step into their role. We've definitely gotten more comfortable with doing our job, and that's something we need to emphasize going to next week. And I guess an extra year is just kind of helped everyone understand more about their role and what their job is on specific plays. We should do a better job executing that.
Thank you.
John Vogt.
Yeah, hi Xander. Another interception for you this week, and that's 2 and 3 games. Can you take us through that play this week and just what's working for you in coverage right now?
Yeah, both of the interceptions were tip passes. We always talk about getting to the ball. All training camp, that's one of the biggest things we talk about. Man, it could be anyone. Everyone's trying to get to the ball. I just got a couple lucky bounces. Just always trying to get there and be able to try to help the team, the momentum, and get a turnover.
Lawrence Price.
I got another one for you, Xander. Can you talk about, well, your brother, your older brother played at Northwestern and he also played linebacker. How influential was he in, your development? But, does he, you kind of look to him, or you picking a linebacker position? Was that kind of, playing a factor into it?
Yeah, one of the main reasons that I'm here is because of him. He kind of showed me how awesome this place is, and pretty much my whole life I've been looking up to him and trying to just learn from him. And he's a great guy now. He's done with football, but he's doing great things in the real world. Um, and yeah, I mean, he played special teams for years and started here as a walk on, and earned a scholarship eventually. And he worked really hard for that, and it was awesome to see. And it's one of the reasons that gives me confidence that I can play linebacker here and follow in his footsteps. And yeah.
And just to follow up, going into Miami, Ohio game and, the secondary's banged up. How have you talked to Bryce and even Grayson? Just how does your role change, or anything, your view on just leadership?
Doesn't change too much. I mean, we've had because of leadership a little bit, but we our second string guys are getting reps with the ones all the time, especially in the DB room. Our coaches do a great job of rotating guys and getting them first team reps. So I think all of our guys that have stepped up in the defensive back room have been awesome, and should I keep that going?
Bradley Locker.
Hey Xander, Bradley Locker with Inside NU. Excuse me. I know Lawrence talked a little bit about the importance of you guys stepping up as a unit in light of the injuries to the secondary. Just overall, what is your assessment of how the linebackers have played, and in what areas versus the pass versus the run do you guys think you can improve?
I think overall, just doing our job. Our coaches put a great game plan out there for us. I personally didn't do a good enough job executing this Saturday, and that's something we all need to work on. I think that's the biggest thing is they're putting us in the right place to make plays, and we just gotta execute.
John Vogt.
Yeah, hi again, Xander. Ryan Hilinski named to the AFCA Good Works team earlier this morning. You just talk a little bit about his leadership in the locker room and what that means to you guys to see him doing good in the community.
Yeah, he's an awesome guy. Every aspect. I barely even knew him. Like the first month he was here. Didn't talk to him that much, and then I've started to talk to him more and more. But he was always just the nicest guy. He's always looking for ways to help other people out. And I've seen that since the first day he got here. And he's a tremendous leader and is just a great guy to lead this team.
Awesome. One more question for Lawrence Price.
Sorry, Xander. I just wanted to ask, can you talk about the transition from last year to this year? What have you learned through these first 3 games? Kind of just, really stepping into a starting role.
Yeah, playing football in the Big Ten is definitely tough. And I think the physicality is definitely a big thing. Getting to Big Ten play in about 2 weeks, and that's one of the biggest things, the physicality, and how fast paced the game is. And just more and more reps in practice and film is kind of the best way to prepare for that. And just knowing what you're supposed to do, you go out there and flying around and being physical is the biggest thing.
All right. Thanks, Xander.
Thank you, guys.
All right, we'll go right into questions for Adebawore. Please message athletic communications if you have one. First question for Bradley Locker.
Hey, Tommy, Bradley Locker with Insight on You. You guys obviously have a newer defensive line this season. What have you seen from some of those new additions, whether it's transfers or more inexperienced guys stepping up to form a cohesive group as a whole?
Yeah, I mean, everyone's playing hard. Everyone's willing to work. We're all trying to get better each and every day, especially those guys. They're into a new kind of, obviously a new team and a new system. So, other guys are doing, including myself, are helping them out just with the playbook, just how we do things here. And they've done a great job so far. So.
John Vogt.
Yeah, hi. Ryan Hilinski was named to the AFCA Good Works team this morning. Can you talk a little bit about his leadership in the locker room and what it means to you guys to see the work he's doing in the community?
Oh yeah, I mean, he's a big part of like that part of our team with community work, stuff like that. He's doing a great job. Obviously with his foundation, for his brother that passed away, we support that, and he's just really helping people, in a positive way outside of here. And his leadership has just been huge for our team. Him being our quarterback, leading us to, in games, and he's just doing a great job. So.
John Riker.
John Riker, Daily Northwestern. Having your career at Northwestern, how do you feel like you've progressed the most across your years here? And some of the plays that you've been making, do you feel like those are ones that you would have been able to make in your first game action for Northwestern?
Well, over the years, I've just continued to work hard to get better. And I mean, it's definitely showing up now, just all the hard work I paid off. Obviously, I still got to play better. I don't think I played to the level I need to play at right now. But some of the plays I'm making now, I mean, came from my freshman, sophomore, junior year, just learning. So yeah, I'm not sure if I would have made those plays back then, but I mean, I've definitely grown from just my experience throughout my years here. So
thank you.
Lawrence Price.
Hey, Tommy, Lawrence Price, Daily Northwestern. Can you talk about the linebacker core and how they impact you and, the D-lines play, or their importance in, you guys being in sync?
Yeah, I mean, communication, throughout the week, we watch film together to make sure, communication's on point, because obviously whatever they tell us, we have to run, we have to play. So, we have to have that connection, and we make sure to prepare ourselves throughout the week. So by the time we get to game day, anything we're hearing from them, we know exactly what they're saying. We know exactly what they mean. So they've done a great job doing that for us.
Louis Vicaire.
Hey, Adebawore, Louis Vicaire with Wildcat Report. So Fitz talked about right now, obviously you guys have lost a couple games in a row, and you talked about the importance of leadership and staying disciplined and preparation and things like that. As a captain, what's your role in that, and what do you see as your role in keeping people disciplined so they prepare correctly?
Yeah, I mean, just attacking each day, the right way, like focusing on the details, starting fast, finishing, all little details matter. And then, coming from me, encouraging guys, working hard myself. Like if I'm seeing stuff on the film, I'm correcting my own self, then obviously guys know like, oh, he's not just, saying I'm making a mistake, but he's calling it out like he's making mistakes too. So just having that trust with my teammates, knowing that, anything I say, I'm talking to myself as well. And yeah, I mean, that's just one thing I've been trying to focus on.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Adebawore.
Thank you, guys.